Welcome to Aftersight, your home for stories for people just like you. Your vision loss journey isn't something to be ashamed of. Take a listen.
And that's the main thing I remember learning when I was taught the slack line when I still had vision, is don't look at the line below you, but look at your anchor point that's solid ahead of you.
If you want me to cook your dinner, you have to put somewhere it goes.
And I suppose part of this was also my own trying to figure out who I was and how to be in the world in this very new way.
I would say a potted plant, because I get sad when the flowers would wilt, eventually.
I'm going to say fresh cut flowers, because then I don't have to worry about killing a plant. I'm really bad at taking care of.
These people all have the same thing in common. You. Their stories are for your encouragement, your determination, and your inspiration. This is Aftersight.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Aftersight. I am your host, Penn Street. And if you've been listening, you knew I took a little bit of a vacation. I was in the Yucatan of Mexico for 2 weeks, and it's been a while, like most of us, since, pre-COVID, before we've done a lot of traveling. So I really had to kind of hone up on some of my skills to make sure that I had a safe journey. But one of the things I really noticed in Mexico, and it would be wonderful to get others' feedback. I've been in Mexico before, but it has been a long time. But it refreshed that memory that when I'm in Mexico, my disability is treated very differently than a lot of times in the United States. And I feel that way when I've traveled to other countries like Canada. But in Mexico, it was beautiful the way I was treated, and I felt like they didn't treat me like they were pitying me or that there was something wrong with me. I felt like when they extended special situations or circumstances or even assistance, they did it in a way of honor, and even my disability was a blessing, like it was a positive thing. I never, ever felt when somebody saw me and said, come to the front of the line, or let's go over to this desk and we can get you through customs quicker. I never felt that they were doing it because they felt like I couldn't do it. I felt like the way they did it, and I don't even know if I can describe it, but it was more of a way of, wow, you're this incredible human being that it's a blessing to get to talk to you. It's an honor to get to talk to you, to help you with or give you assistance. And it would be interesting if other people felt that way when they travel, whether it's negative or positive, because maybe it's been more negative when you traveled, but I really found that really refreshing and a wonderful experience for me. So I have a little bit of color, I've been told. So I'm ready for summertime here in Colorado. So today's guest is Blake Steinecke. You'll have to make sure I have that correct, Blake. But Blake is with Clusiv, and that's Clusiv. Clusiv is an online program and platform that was built for and by people who are blind. And I have done some research into it. It looks like an incredible learning platform, and I can't wait for Blake to share his story and then also to share more about Clusiv. So hang in there. We will be right back.
This is Aftersight. If you have a question, please visit us at aincolorado.org/podcast-guest. Make sure to subscribe to all of our podcasts so you don't miss a single episode. And now here's your host, Penn Street.
Blake, welcome to Aftersight, and I apologize if I butchered your last name.
No worries. It's great to be here, and you got it well on the second try there.
Oh, okay.
and your trip sounded awesome. I love that story.
Thank you. Have you traveled much since COVID?
Yeah, a fair amount for blind hockey and just traveling. But I like the differentiation you made of getting help from people when they know you could do it on your own, and they respect that, but they're gonna give you assistance regardless. I really liked how you put that.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. Yeah, I notice when I travel in Canada, it's that similar. It's just a different way that people offer assistance than they do, I feel like, a lot of times here in the United States. So, and excuse my guide dog for barking in the background. It definitely happens here at Aftersight. So Blake, I like okay. I like to start off my show with, we like to call it this and that questions, just so that people get to know you a little bit before we dive in. Is that all right?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Well, summer's coming, right? At least we sure hope so. And are you more of a flip-flop kind of guy, or do you like to wear sneakers during the summer?
Well, I do live in San Diego, so I find myself in flip-flops a lot. And so, especially if going to the beach, there's no way I'm going to wear shoes.
That's right. In San Diego, I have been in San Diego there when it has been quite chilly, but you guys have amazing weather there year round.
Definitely.
So since you are on the water, are you more of a beach guy, or would you rather get out in the water with paddleboarding, surfing, boating, or whatever that might be?
Yeah, I definitely have always liked the water and catching waves in any form, I guess, if it's body surfing, boogie boarding, and I do enjoy surfing when I can get someone to take me. So it's a lot of fun and a special thing to get to have close by.
Yes, definitely. That's great. When you, in your spare time, when you're not working or at the beach, would you prefer listening to music or podcasts?
I would definitely say podcasts. I love to learn, and I enjoy talking with people. And I feel like podcasts, you get to learn a lot and peek in on conversations with people that I would love to talk to. So I really enjoy podcasts, especially over music. That's
wonderful. What is your favorite podcast?
It's tough to say. Something
or even genre.
Yeah, I think I like to learn a lot about the Think Media podcast is a podcast I really enjoy. It's all about online video and marketing and all of that, as I have a big passion for cameras and content creation. So I really enjoy that. But
that was Think Media?
Think Media, yeah.
Oh, wonderful. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's definitely more niche, but I do like the bigger podcasts of the Joe Rogans or Lex Friedmans at times to see the interesting conversations with people on there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, interesting is a good word. Sometimes it gets pretty heated. So, I definitely enjoy podcasts too. Really, since I've gotten more into podcasts, I actually listen to books less, which I hate that because I love books, but there's only so much spare time. But music is important. Do you have a favorite song that's like when you hear it, it just puts you in the right frame of mind?
Yeah, I don't know if I have a favorite song necessarily. An artist I really enjoy is NF. He's like a kind of hip hop rap, however you want to put it. And he had an album that just came out recently, and I enjoy his passion and intensity, creativity, and how he shares his faith through his music as well. But yeah, that's someone I really enjoy.
Okay, another one I'm going to have to look up, which is one of the reasons I love doing this show.
Yeah, it's not everyone's forte. Maybe something that would be maybe more for everybody would be someone like Switchfoot, which is a local band, but pretty big as well.
Oh, wonderful. I'll definitely check out both of those.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Blake, I know that you live a life with vision loss as well as I do. How old were you when you kind of began losing your vision?
Yeah, so I grew up with perfect vision and, did a lot of different sports, competitive student, and, fully able-bodied. And I, at the age of 16, during my junior year of high school, started to notice very slight vision loss in one eye. Thought it was nothing. Through lots of testing, end up finding out that I had a condition called Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy, or LHON. And throughout the rest of my junior and senior year, I slowly lost pretty much all my central vision and just have this big static, blurry blind spot of nothingness in the middle of my vision while still having some peripheral vision. And that's a bit of how my vision loss happened and when it started, but happy to share more.
Yeah. Did it progressively get worse, or did you hold on to your peripheral?
Yeah, due to the nature of the condition, it kind of stays quite stable. It gets worse and then plateaus. So I've had pretty much the same vision since for many years. It progressed. I'd say I lost my vision over the course of a year or two, and then it plateaued.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you do still have some usable vision, I guess is the right.
I have usable peripheral vision.
Okay. Same with me. It's my peripheral I call fuzzy. It's not by any means I can't drive a car or anything, but I'm thankful for it. And hopefully mine as well stays stable. But if not, I have the tools and the skills and resources that I know where to get more training if I need it.
For sure.
How do you, because you were quite young. That's such a pivotal time of life, your high school years and then going into college. So, that in itself is a hard time during our lives, trying to figure out who we are and what we want to be. And so to go through that as well as this other layer of, dealing with this new vision loss, how do you feel that kind of formed you as an adult living with vision loss?
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting time of life, as I, first of all, had just got my license and I was able to drive for a couple months. And in this time of life where you're exploring and getting all this new independence, it is definitely a shock when vision loss can quickly come across as a death sentence to independence, which it's not. But I think at the very beginning, I was struck with, how am I going to keep up in school? How could I go to college? Could I get a job one day? Would someone want to be with me in a relationship? I'm probably done playing sports. All these thoughts, not necessarily in a depressing way. It was more just in this shock and not knowing how to process those things. And it's been amazing to unpack and see the other side of all those things.
Yeah.
But it's crazy when you're kind of, everyone's figuring out where they're going to college, what they want to do. And it's so hard to fathom what a future looks like, just to my, preconceived notions towards blindness and disability. So it was definitely an interesting time, but also was able to, this is something that I'm going to have, that I plan on having for the rest of my life. So it kind of got me started early, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think was the biggest help in early on? Because we do have listeners in our audience that may be they're really new to their vision loss, and I get that a lot. What's the first step? What do you feel was that sort of that beginning of, okay, it's not a death sentence, it's going to take a lot of work, or whatever those thoughts were for you. But what do you feel kind of put you back on maybe a path that led you to where you are now?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that comes to me first is having people in your life that believe in you when you can't believe in yourself. I used to always think it was cheesy to say, oh, like believe in yourself, or just like believe in each other. Like I thought it was just some like cheesy thing that you tell kids. But when I didn't believe in myself and didn't know how I could do things, having family, friends, and I clearly think of one time talking with the school administrator, saying to them like, oh, my grades are probably going to have to, my grades will suffer, and I'm probably going to have to take different classes since I was a very good student. And they're like, no, you should be able to keep up just as well. You're just going to have to do things a different way. And I was like, it was one of those funny things I needed to hear, but not necessarily didn't want to hear. But I'm like, man, like I feel like you're right, but it's gonna be really hard. But I know it's possible. And just my woodshop teacher, when I told him, hey, I'm going to have to leave this class, and he's like, oh, we could get you working on the computer so you can design things in like a CAD program and cut things out on a CNC machine. And I'm like, wait, but that stuff's like a lot more confusing and difficult. But I'm like, but I guess it's more accessible. And just continuing to have a family that believed in me and didn't always like cut me slack when I wanted it, but just help try to figure things out. And I quickly realized like everything is figure outable, and I may not know how to do something, but I know there's a way to do it. But it's quite an emotional journey of that, and thankful for the support of friends, family, church community, in all of that.
That's awesome. And a shout out to everybody that was in your life that was able to do that. And sometimes I call it tough love. Like sometimes it's easier, especially for parents, but even teachers, to step in and do it and make that road really smooth for us. However, then we don't learn. Like you said, sometimes the solution is actually harder, but I do feel like if we have teachers and parents that are willing to push us a little bit, that those skills that we learn layer down the foundation for later when we need to learn even harder stuff,
Absolutely.
Well, so what did you want your career to be, Blake, before you lost your vision?
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily somebody that was super hard set on things. I think there was a childhood passion and desire to, whatever way, shape, or form, to become a pilot or at least fly one day.
Oh, wow.
And so that changed. I had other interests in like physical therapy, as my mom's a physical therapist, and for a variety of reasons, I thought it was interesting. And I think just being good at school, there's like definitely a push to like go into some STEM field that I was drawn to. And when I got accepted to college, I went to Cal State San Marcos, just a California state school in North County, San Diego. It's where I'm from. And I was pre-kinesiology, and then I was kind of like, I don't want to do it because I knew how challenging it would be, and the reward of the challenge wasn't worth the challenge to me.
Oh, so interesting. Yeah.
I was like, my dad has worked in business, and I thought business school could be good. And quickly, through being like, I don't want to do all these other ones that sound boring, like marketing sounds interesting.
Yeah. And is that how, so tell us more about Clusiv. Like, what is it? And also, what do you do there?
Yeah, for sure. So to connect a bit of kind of my journey to Clusiv as well.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting my degree in marketing and minored in Spanish, and college was a very challenging time of just trying to make all my coursework accessible and spending all this extra time taking longer on assignments that weren't accessible, as like I use a mix of a screen reader and magnification, and a lot of things just didn't have any screen reader support. So there were a lot of barriers to work through. And, I ended up graduating in 3.5 years with my degree in marketing and minored in Spanish, and realized, oh, wow, I guess I did quite well.
Yes,
And
you did. I was going to say.
I realized the content was not the hard part, because I took loads of classes and got good grades, but it was making things accessible. And I realized technology was my biggest frustration and sometimes my greatest enemy, but more importantly, my best friend, because it has allowed me to do all these things. Because
exactly.
I think like my problem isn't that I can't see, it's that I can't do stuff, but technology allows me to do stuff is how I like to boil it down. And so that kind of helped show me, I really like this stuff. I have a knack for it. But after graduating, I worked in software sales, and then was working in marketing in the mountain bike industry, as I've always loved mountain biking. But then just throughout all that, I had this like definitely tug on me to want to work in technology. And so at the beginning of last year, I was like, I want to make a pivot and help make a difference in making technology more accessible, and realizing how much an impact that makes. And at that time, like I really, really believed in that, like education and employment were some of the biggest areas that I see that there needs to be a change in. Through the process of a variety of things in last year, did a variety of work in accessibility, and starting my YouTube channel, all sorts of things. And then last June started doing some part-time contract work with Clusiv, as I met Luke, the founder of Clusiv, a little over a year ago at the CSUN Assistive Technology Conference. And then last September, I went full-time with Clusiv, because I was doing a variety of contract roles in accessibility, but I was like, I love this mission. I'm so sold on it and want to be a part of it. So I've been full-time since then with Clusiv, and my title is the growth manager. And that basically means I help run marketing and try to increase the awareness of Clusiv to get more enrollments. As I really believe and wish this is something I had years ago, and know can make such a big difference for so many people. And what Clusiv basically is it's a world's first e-learning platform built for the blind community to help learn technology, occupational, and career skills training. And it's all designed to help remove barriers to employment, since, with the 70% unemployment rate in the blind community, there's a big part of that. And the gap between the blind community and employment is a skills gap. Since there's the technology is confusing and challenging to learn. There's all these different tools you need to know how to use in the modern workforce on top of your assistive technology. And then there's all these extra soft skills you have to know about navigating your disability, disclosures and accommodations, all these unique things. And there's not a good place to learn it, especially in a uniform way or in a way that's online and more scalable. And so that's where Clusiv fits in with our courses. And we also do career exploration of computer science, customer service, accessibility analysts. So we're not just teaching some technical and soft skills, but more career specific training to allow people to explore different fields and gain not just technical competency, but I think the coolest thing to hear in feedback from our graduates is just the growth in confidence when entering interviews in the workforce. Because, to my point before, it's not like, for example, in college, it wasn't a matter of me trying to be smart enough. Like I had that covered. It's just making things accessible, and that continued throughout my journey in employment. And so that's kind of where Clusiv fits in, and it was working to serve the blind community and make a difference in the unemployment rate.
Yes, and we've had a couple people on Aftersight talking about that unemployment rate and even underemployment, which
sure.
I'm sure you guys are covering that as well. You have people with law degrees that are working, at a job that they're overqualified because it's the only job that they can get. What are some of the specific classes that I could take on Clusiv?
Yeah, so kind of one of our biggest courses, most popular, is the professional skills for the modern workforce. And in that course, it will we teach to either JAWS or Zoom text, and we'll teach you the basics of using the assistive technology, but then taking it a step further and applying it to a variety of business softwares, such as the Google Suite, like the Drive Docs, the Sheets, Slides, the Microsoft Suite of all those different office tools, different email platforms, video conferencing platforms, all those different tools that you very commonly see in the modern workforce, as well as the soft skills of resume and interview prep, disclosures and accommodations, and quite a variety of other things. So to the name of the course, it's teaching you the professional skills you need entering the modern workforce and teaching to your assistive technology as well. And then we have a variety of kind of like occupational training, more designed for, I would say, younger students that are entering the workforce, of like internet safety, financial literacy, to have some of those like basic understanding of things that you need entering the workforce. And then our career exploration courses is our fundamentals of computer science, where you're learning the basics of web development with a screen reader, and even learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and how to start building your own website, as computer science is quite an impressively accessible field. And on top of that is an accessibility analyst course to take that computer science course to the next level, and also teaching how your disability and your blindness could be an asset, and using your lived experience to make an impact in technology. And we also have our customer service career track course to learn more about skills in computer science, customer service. And so that's some of our courses and offerings there to get an idea of things.
That's amazing. Like, it's amazing variety, and it seems like it covers a lot of age demographics, because it could be somebody, like you said, the younger, maybe coming out of high school, or even before they were leaving high school, but also some, of us that are older that just need to, sharpen some of those skills, especially if we're transitioning from one role to another role within the same company, and or especially during and after COVID, a lot of us, are in new companies and new organizations. So that's so cool. Well, so I did see on your website that not only did you have like student information, but you also, it looks like if a company or organization is interested in hiring one of your graduates, it seems like you connect them all the way through. How does that work?
Yeah, so that's something that we're continuing to explore, and building a variety of employment partners. Is Clusiv, we're really focused on the training aspect of things, and we don't promise placement in a role, but we are working with a variety of employment partners, whether they're companies or other organizations that are resources to help people who are blind or just have any disability to find employment through their employment networks. So that is something we're exploring, and also figuring out getting like paid internships for our graduates with certain partnerships, as we want to make sure we can train people to give them the skills to where they could enter any job that they're looking to get. But any business that is interested in hiring our graduates, we're always happy to connect with.
That's awesome. Okay, so I know you're not going to give away any high-end information because we want people to go onto the platform. But you mentioned, and the reason I'm asking this is because I was in a group I belong to. It's adults with vision loss that are still in the work field. We're still working adults that just happen to be visually impaired. So we have a group that we meet once a month, and it came up because several of them are looking for jobs, and they were. When do they disclose their vision loss? And it was interesting in the group because somebody says, well, that's part of who I am. So it's on all my social media, right? It's, it's part of who she is. And then somebody else said, oh, I would never disclose it until I got the contract, that I was actually hired. So what is Clusiv's philosophy on when do you disclose your vision loss?
Yeah, I don't think you would necessarily get a straight answer, or because I think it's people will always say it depends, and I think you could talk with different blind employees of Clusiv and get different opinions and perspectives. But I think I'm just going to share my thoughts and perspective is I think that disclosing upfront or as soon as you can is the most ideal, because I think it shows confidence and it helps just to be upfront so that it's not necessarily a surprise, and you can see what someone's reaction is initially is based on how they receive it. And if you have some bad experience in the interview where they don't seem receptive at all, it may not feel great, but it's sometimes better to find out then than once you're hired. I have always liked to discuss the different technology that the company uses so that, when I enter the job, can I use a Mac or are they Windows only, whatever it may be.
Right.
I think disclosing sooner is better, but it also depends in art form, and especially to that person who it's such an important part of their life that it's on all their social media. Then I also think it's a asset of theirs and something to be leveraged in terms of it. I'm sure it brings such a unique skill set. And I feel like I was always told if you have two resumes that look the same, one person is blind, then they're going to give it to the able-bodied person.
Right.
I've come to realize that I know this won't always be the case, but the person who's blind or visually impaired, they have an edge on the other person because they've shown themselves to be more of a problem solver, adaptable, hardworking, creative, and all these things I think should be discussed in an interview, not just this is my disability, but let me weave this into different answers of the questions to be asked on how it's an asset.
Yes, I agree with you, but I also know people are afraid because of that high, that 70% unemployment rate. But I agree with you. I mean, I've done talks to different forums and things about somebody with a disability brings asset to the company, not defect. It's that we have tools that we have to use 24/7 that an able-bodied person doesn't even need to learn. But that again lays down that foundation for those skill set that actually makes what we know stronger, because we actually have to rely on it, through our daily lives. So, how much does Clusiv cost? I know that you guys work with Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, DVR, which is awesome. I was excited to see that. But how much, if somebody's not in the DVR system, can they still be part of your online trainings?
Yeah, so currently we're just focused on working with state vocational rehabilitation agencies, Commission for the Blind, Workforce for the Blind, or Department of Rehab, whatever it may be called in your state. of whoever's listening. And we did that so that we could have the courses be at no cost to the student and the end user. And it's to target people who are seeking employment, as that's what Voc Rehab is going to be focusing on. And, we are trying to explore what a, direct to consumer or maybe a self-pay option would look like. Long story short, but whether you're in Voc Rehab or not, feel free to fill out a form on our website, clusiv.io, and that will link in the show notes as well. And we'll be happy to get you more information. And whether we have something now or down the road for someone who's not in Voc Rehab, we want to make sure we can get that info to people. But if you're not in Voc Rehab, or for anybody actually, we have a free mobile app that has some select modules from some of our full courses. We have Gmail and Outlook with JAWS, and we're very soon going to be adding some more content to that. So our mobile app is a great way to get some really great free training, and also just quality training that is very hard to find if you're just trying to Google things and sit in despair as you don't find too much. Maybe that's just me.
No, I agree. What is the mobile app called? Is it Clusiv or?
Yeah, it's just Clusiv, Clusiv, and it's on the Apple iOS App Store.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. All right. That's so amazing. That's one thing that I was really impressed with what I was seeing on your website, that you have all these different avenues that you can get the word out. And I loved all the different, ways to connect with you guys.
Sure.
What does success look like with Clusiv? Like is somebody, like when you're like at the end and you're like, okay, we did this correctly. What does success look like for you guys?
Yeah, I think on a small scale, and I don't mean to diminish this by calling it a small scale, but what gets us most excited and energized is hearing the testimonials from students sharing about how it's the best training that they've ever received, and they now feel confident entering the workforce and that it perfected their skill set. And then obviously hearing that people went and got a job, or they tell us the interviews that they're going in. And I think it's just amazing to hear about the confidence and independence that people feel, because as technical as some of these things may be, it's deeply emotional, because employment is so important to just be a member of society and to be involved in your community and to be just making an impact, because it's going to take a group of people. It's going to take people in the blind community to make this change by being advocates in their workplace, as there's still so much work to be done. But the biggest impact is when an individual is able to enter a workplace and be an advocate for inclusion and for other people with disabilities. And so I think success is going to continue to look like for Clusiv is having every person who's blind or visually impaired in the U.S. to know about us, be able to access our training, and feel equipped for employment, and feel like they have a more equitable opportunity to seek that out. It's going to still have challenges, but being able to have the skills and training, I think, is one of the biggest ways to fill that gap.
I love that. And going along with that, what do you think is the biggest barrier with younger people getting into the workforce? What's one of the biggest hurdles?
I think it's the just lack of technology skills is on a more granular level, because it's confusing to learn. It's hard to know what's best for you, and there's just not always a great way to learn it. And, Clusiv is self-paced and online, so you could take as much time as you need, and you're not bound to being one-on-one with somebody. And you have this robust curriculum that can teach you all the details. So I feel like, just speaking from friends of mine where they're brilliant, smart, creative people, but not having the technology skills is what holds them back and causes the unemployment and especially underemployment. And I think it's also just a confidence thing of knowing how to navigate your disability as well.
Right. Yeah, and that confidence goes a long way, because even if you do have the skills, you have those hard skills, if you don't have self-confidence, and it does go back to the people believing in you.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, I think it is, a detriment, because no matter how smart you are or how strong your skills are, if you don't believe in yourself and believe that you deserve to be there, it's that's hard. It's so hard.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, what's the best way for somebody to reach out to you or to reach out to Clusiv? Like what would be the best step for them to learn more?
Yeah, the best way to learn more would be to go to our website. It's clusiv.io, clusiv.io. And we can link that down below. You can learn more about Clusiv and fill out a form that's going to be on the bottom of the page with just some basic information so that we can contact you with more info. And also on our website, you'll see a link to our mobile app. If you want to download that, you can see what some of our training is like. And you can also request to learn more information through the mobile app.
That's awesome. And for all you, employers out there that are interested, you can use that same link, and we will have it in the show notes, clusiv.io, to go on and learn how you can actually hire one of the graduates, or if you're a DBR counselor, you can also go in and get connected with Clusiv. So Blake, what would you like the takeaway to be today?
Oof. Yeah, I think just a theme for today would be, surround yourself with people that believe in you, and going out there and getting the skills and training and resources, wherever that is, to help build your confidence when entering the workforce, or whatever your goal may be. And I think an important way to learn learn those skills of being able to figure out these challenging things that is not always most fun to figure out how to adapt and overcome, is to find something that is challenging but fun for you to adapt and overcome with. For me, that's looked like continuing to play hockey and playing blind hockey, which is an adapted version of ice hockey. And I play on the U.S. blind hockey team, and that's been a huge part of my life. Or I've also gotten into cameras since my vision loss as a way to clearly capture things around me and share that perspective with others, and started my YouTube channel, Adapting Sight. And it's been a way that I've applied figuring out technology in a very technical, confusing area, but it's something that is fun, that I love. And in areas like that, it's helped me build that muscle of being able to adapt and overcome, and apply that in areas that aren't always most fun, but super important when it comes to education and employment.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I agree with that. If you find something, like I'm very outdoorsy. I hike and ski and paddleboard. And when I'm with friends, especially if they're new to blindness, and sometimes not necessarily, but they've never been on a hike, they've never been on a paddleboard, or definitely never skied. And that first time that they force themselves to do it, and they realize, oh my gosh, I really like doing this, that it does help them. Because if you, like you said, if you can find something fun, that you can kind of overcome some of that adversity and learn some of those blind skills doing something fun, then you're more apt to, continue your education or dive into something like JAWS or, some of those adaptive technology that is a real commitment. I love that. Thank you. That's an awesome way of putting it.
Sure.
Get yourself to learn something fun first.
Yeah. And it'll get you in a community of people that can believe in you. Like for me, blind hockey gave me this people that raised the bar so much for what I could, didn't think I could accomplish. And they raised it so much higher by setting good examples and like giving me those like blind life hacks, I call it.
Yes.
That is super important to have with community, because there's others that have gone before us, and why not learn from them?
Absolutely. And I always tell people I've had a lot of practice being blind, but it's still, if something happens and you kind of get knocked down, the first people that I reach out to for a little support and love is my blind community, because I know that they've been knocked down in a similar way before. So that's wonderful. It is so important to find your community and like Blake said, learn from them. And I guarantee you, it won't take much time for you to be that new person. And you're the one that's asking all the questions and asking all the learning information. You'll be surprised when it flip-flops, right?
Yes.
That you are then all of a sudden you're realizing like you're not the newbie anymore. You're the one that's being the mentor for the next person. And that is such a beautiful, amazing feeling. And it happens quicker than you think.
Yes, I'm
awesome.
Definitely feeling that for sure.
Yes, exactly.
I feel like it comes in phases in life as I know more and more things happen or figure out. Like I had all those doubts in the beginning, and seeing what all has happened in school and in work and in sports and getting married and other hobbies. It's like as all those things happen, it's like I can now help others in those areas. And it's like, oh, wait, like the tables have turned.
Exactly. Well, Blake, I've been asking you a million questions. I always give my guest an opportunity to ask me a question. Do you have a question for me?
Yeah, sure. I absolutely. What drives you to want to do this podcast?
Oh, that's a great question. Is when I was first asked to do it, I didn't know what they were talking about, because I listen to podcasts obviously, but to be a host is a totally different realm. But then I realized like it really is something that comes natural to me, because I love networking. I love outreach. I love connecting the dots for people. Being one of those connectors. And so basically that's what Aftersight is it's a platform that people can come and tell their stories, but also it's a platform for like people like you to come and say, hey, we have this amazing program platform that's fairly new, but it really is changing the world for our community. And what a gift it is for me to just have this platform so that you can share what you're doing. So that's what draws me to this. And I have met so many incredible people through Aftersight that I never would have met if it wasn't for this platform. So it's I love it. It still surprises me that when I hear myself on Apple Podcasts or something, like, oh, that's me. But it really has been a joy, and I hope I can continue doing it as long as people continue listening. But we've gotten so many amazing feedback too, of somebody that got introduced to a resource or a service, or even another human being. Like, we've had guests that have come on and said, yeah, I'm from this town in Florida and I'm part of this organization. And then we'll get somebody right in that says, oh, I didn't even know you guys were there. And they go over there and they get to actually meet the guest. And so, yeah, I think it's wonderful that, and we need more of this, like you with your YouTube channel. We need more blind people out there showing the world that we can do this, and we are doing it, and we have been doing it. And, like you said, we may have to do it a little differently, but we can still do it, so. Absolutely. So I think we got to keep those, and I think social media and podcasting is an easy way for us all to keep doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's really cool. One other quick question. Do you know any blind mountain bikers in Colorado that I could ride with?
I don't, but I can connect you with somebody who I bet you will know. I don't know if you know Eric Wymeyer, that name.
Yes.
But he's a friend of mine. I can connect you with his team. So when you're in Colorado, when you're coming out, let me know, and I'll connect you with Eric and his team, because I know Eric himself's mountain bikes, and so does, so he's got that support system.
Nice. Awesome.
So absolutely. I love to bike, but I do not like the trails anymore. I've taken a few, head over heels tumbles on my bike, and I prefer I like steep. I can go up the mountain passes but it needs to be a nice trail, a hard pack or asphalt. I prefer. So, but yeah, that's awesome that you're doing that, and that I think, and also our listeners out there, if you're in Colorado or in California, reach out to Blake, and you guys can connect on mountain biking.
Yeah, for sure. I could also share a link to my LinkedIn if people want to connect on LinkedIn, or share my YouTube channel as well. But always happy to connect with people.
Well, thank you, Blake, so much for being on Aftersight. It's been wonderful. I've learned a lot, and definitely it's wonderful sharing what you're doing. And, keep up the amazing work. I also want to thank, of course, Audio Information Network of Colorado, because without them, this podcast would not be possible. I get to do the fun parts, but they have to do the hard work on the back end. Even though they say it's fun, I don't necessarily believe them 100% of the time. But they do an amazing job making me sound good and promoting the programs, as well as connecting me with people like Blake. So this week, please be kind to yourselves and find a way to be kind to somebody else. It's good for your soul. Blake, thank you, and thank everybody else out there for dropping in week after week.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.